Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk on a stormy Monday. I think there was a song called check my encyclopedia of music. But we're not talking storms during this hour. We will have a weather check later on. Right now I'd like to welcome two of the three gentlemen who are running for the U.S. House District 13, Rodney Davis and John Hartman in studio. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Hello, Doug.
Dr. David Gill, also a candidate. He will not be joining us today. We extended the invitation to him and his campaign, but we're informed late last week that he would not be able to make it today. So that being said, I'd like to open up the floor to each of you to introduce yourself to our listeners. And let's start with you, Mr. Davis.
Well, thank you, Doug, and thank you for having us on here. It's a great opportunity to get a chance to talk about our issues and the issues that are important not only to southwestern Illinois, but to America. I want to introduce myself a little bit, though, and let everybody know I'm just a normal guy from Taylorville, Illinois, who got nominated to run for this office 6 months ago. So I'm a brand new candidate and somebody who's been spreading the message of putting America back to work over the last 6 months. I live in Taylorville with my wife, Shannon, who's a nurse by trade and now teaches nursing school, our next generation of caregivers at St. John's College of Nursing in Springfield. I have 3 children, a daughter, Torin, who is 15 and at Taylorville High School, and twin boys, Clark and Griffin, who are at Taylorville Junior High in 6th grade. They're the reason I'm running for office. Our national debt is out of control. It's $16 trillion right now. Every single person in America has a share of $50,000. And our first ad that went out talked about this. Every child, their share is $50,000, and it keeps going up because we don't have leaders in Washington that are working in a bipartisan way to find solutions to put America on that debt repayment plan. And that's the type of leadership that I have some experience working in the last 16 years for Congressman John Shimkus in this area, helping countless constituents break through the bureaucratic red tape of Washington to help them with issues they may have been having with Social Security and Medicare, working with the IRS. But I'm also proud of the fact that I worked with many community leaders to find ways that they could partner with the federal government to do very important things regarding infrastructure, US 67 expansion, and other issues that are very important to this area. But we have to get off the backs of small business owners. We have to allow small business owners to know what their tax bill and their health care costs are going to look like at the end of this year so that they can begin to invest in equipment, inventory, and most importantly, people. Because that's how we create jobs in this country, is when small business owners invest in people to grow jobs and grow our economy. That's what I intend to do in Washington, is to extend our current tax rates permanently and also repeal and replace Obamacare and put forth a true market-based solution that I'd urge everybody to go take a look at my health care plan, my jobs plan, our energy plan at electrodney.com.
All right, John Hartman, who are you? What are you all about?
All right. Well, from a biography standpoint, I was actually born in Alton. I grew up in Edwardsville, but Alton is where the hospital was. And went to Edwardsville High School. I got a business degree at Washington University in St. Louis. I have a teaching degree from Johns Hopkins, and I currently serve as the Chief Financial Officer of DNA Polymerase Technology. We are a DNA research and manufacturing company in St. Louis.
What brought you to the race for the 13th? I'll ask both of you, and John, we'll start with you.
I care about my country, and I care about the trajectory that we're on in several important areas, such as the budget deficit, such as our environment, and such as healthcare. And I don't feel I can just sit on my couch in a democracy. We got rid of the king. We have to do this ourselves. We need leaders to stand up and provide leadership. And the way you get things done and make improvements is leaders offering a direction and then supporters getting behind them and moving forward. And a third of our population is independents, if you ask them. A Gallup poll at the end of 2011 said 40% considered themselves independent, yet there's not a single one in the United States House of Representatives. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity for the folks in central Illinois to have a choice. And if they think that the independent is better than the Democrat and the Republican, to send them there and perhaps start a snowball going. And if we can get 10, 20, 30, even 40 independents in the U.S. House, I believe it could be the biggest improvement to our democracy since women were given the right to vote.
And John Hartman is running as an independent on this ticket. Rodney, you're on the Republican ticket. What drew you to the 13th race? What was it about the 13th that spoke to you?
I grew up in this district. I've been working in this district practically my entire career. I grew up in a small business household where my mom and dad operated a restaurant in Taylorville, and I got to work there at a very young age, like many family members do when it comes to small business operations. And I learned an appreciation from my mom and dad also of how decisions made in Washington and Springfield can affect the way they do business, can affect how many people they can hire on a regular basis. And I got that interest in public policy and went to school at Millikan University here in this district in Decatur. And upon graduation, I told my parents, I know I can always come back and work for you, but I want to try the public service route. And that's when I met John Shimkus. And that's when I've been working for him and the communities that he has served over the last 16 years. Like I said before, helping countless people break through the bureaucracy of Washington. I've seen firsthand how constituents need help navigating through that bureaucratic red tape. I've seen firsthand how long it takes sometimes for long-term projects to begin to go from the discussion stage to the engineering stage to actually completion. And it's going to take somebody that has that vision and as somebody that is able to work in a bipartisan way out in Washington to continue to make those things happen in the future. That's why I'm interested in running, because I believe I have the attributes and I have the background that will allow me to do that more so than any other freshman member of Congress. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to take my experience, hit the ground running, and be a leader immediately upon going to Washington to get things done in a bipartisan way that I think most Americans agree isn't happening right now.
The 13th district is it's been an interesting path to get here. The redistricting of Illinois occurred recently, and John Shimkus, who we've had on our airwaves numerous times, is now going to be. I guess Western Madison County will be or Eastern Madison County will be about as far west as his district comes, which somewhat takes him out of our core of coverage. Still within our broadcast signal, but kind of out of our core. So that means the 13th district came into play. We got to meet Mr. Tim Johnson earlier this year, and up until I guess early spring, he was going to be the incumbent on the ticket. Now it's a wide open ticket, so to speak. But I'd like to talk just about, in the last couple of moments of this segment, about the tone of the campaign so far. And Rodney, we'll start with you.
You know, we've been trying to talk about issues since day one. You know, as you know, I took Tim's spot on the ballot. And on May 19th, I got word that I had been nominated. I was actually about ready to coach my twin boys baseball game. About ready to hit infield to him, and I got a text that said, "You won." So that changed things drastically. I began to go take phone calls. I had my assistant coach hit infield and tell them where they were going to go play. But after about 20 minutes of taking those